Hello, everybody. My name is Bennett Tchaikovsky, and welcome, to my California CPA licensing update for November 2025. And let's go ahead and get started. My disclaimer and copyright notice: the information and opinions in this presentation are those of myself only, and not my employers or affiliated organizations, including but not limited to Irvine Valley College in the South Orange County Community College District. The presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. Please note that the California Board of Accountancy makes the final determination as to whether or not a class meets the educational requirements. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So, big change for California, which is going to be coming soon, is something called Assembly Bill 1175. This was signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom in California. And there's a couple key things to kind of go through and to think about. Generally, if we go through and we kind of look down at this chart over here, I'm going to be providing you links below. The current pathway is 150 semester units. That is going to be ending at the end of 2028. And then at the same time, they're going to right now be looking at starting in January 1st, 2026. California Board of Accountancy is going to be drafting new licenses, regulations. They need this year to go through and implement it. And then we're going to have a new licensure pathway come January 1st, 2027. So a lot of people are asking me, what do I do? I'm panicked, I'm concerned, whatever may have you. Under the current guidelines in terms of what I have gone through and seen, and this is kind of at a national level, what they're aiming towards for the new licensure pathway, this is very, very important. You will need a bachelor's degree or only 120 semester units with 24 semester units of accounting, 24 semester units of business. You may need accounting ethics, but we do not know yet because they have not yet been implemented. So with all this uncertainty, what should we be focusing on? Well, we're going to go through and focus on what is certain. Under the current guidelines right now, to sit for the CPA exam, you do not need 150 semester units, right? This is not what's required to sit. 150 is required for licensure. Licensure is different than sitting. But to sit for the CPA exam, you need to be within 6 months of a bachelor's degree and have within those 6 months 24 semester units of accounting and 24 semester units of business courses completed. Many of you have been asking me for a video that goes through, well, Bennett, which classes should I be going through and taking, or AKA accounting professor? What should I be going through and taking? That's going to be a separate video. My YouTube channel is, I get a lot of comments from many different people saying, dude, what are you doing? Your things are on Zoom. It looks like you're running something out of the Blair Witch Project. Not that any of you would know what that is, but hey, it is what it is. So when you're applying to sit for the CPA exam right now, remember, when you make your application to the Board of Accountancy, got to send in your transcripts. If your transcripts are from a foreign country, it's okay, but they have to be translated by an agency approved by the California Board of Accountancy. Got to send in your transcripts. You got to pay the fee. You got to pay pay the ghost, as in Nicolas Cage. Got to pay that $100 essentially to go through and make your application. If you don't make that payment, they're not going to review your stuff. But when you apply to sit, they're only concerned with, will you have a bachelor's degree within 6 months? Do you have 24 semester units of accounting? Do you have 24 semester units of business subjects? If you're not going to have those when you apply, you may have to apply as a contingent, meaning you will have those within 6 months. Once you get those items, it is your responsibility to get those documents forwarded to the Board of Accountancy. But remember, when you're sitting for the CPA exam, that is all they are caring about. And if we go over here and kind of look at this tip sheet, basically you just need this 2 parts over here to sit for the exam: 24 units of accounting, 24 semester units of business related subjects. So, oh wow, okay. So coming right over here, as I go through and look at this part over here. So you basically, and then we get over here to the requirements for licensure. right? So for sitting for the exam, this is what you need over here to do in terms of sitting. For a licensure, right? Basically, once you've passed the CPA exam, right? I've taken FAR, Reg, and audit, and then I've picked my poison. ISC, TCP, bar, right? You've passed the exam. Then it's about having your year of general work experience. And then they're going to check to see that you have the 150 semester units, which is going to be the 20 semester units of accounting study, 10 semester units of ethics study. But remember, this pathway is expiring at the end of 2028. So if you're not if you're in your first year at a 4-year university, you want to cover your ears and just focus on the bachelor's degree, 24 semester units of accounting, 24 semester units of business. Now, coming over here, you're then going to have your experience. Well, what exactly is the experience? Again, I'm going to leave these links in the thing below, or in the description below. There are there's actually more than two, because you can actually, if you're teaching accounting, you can basically get it that way. But generally there are two. The first one over here is Attest. Okay, this is a big one. If you look at this over here, it's like, holy guacamole, look at all this stuff that you have to do. And this is why most accounting firms are not going to sign this off unless you've been working for at least 2 years in audit. Why is that? Because the Board of Accountancy, when you're able to sign off on audit engagements, they take it very, very seriously. They're going to basically make sure that you're going through, you've had the proper supervision, because if you are signing off on audit reports, that means the public is going to be relying upon what you're signing off. So you have to get this special license. It's called an audit or attest license. This is what I have with the California Board of Accountancy. So when you go through and are applying for an attest license, it is very specific. And again, most people, I'm going to say they're signing their life and blood, but the Board of Accountancy, in my conversations with them, they take this very seriously. So in terms of getting your work experience, right? Because remember, what do I need to do for licensure? Again, licensure is different than sitting. But for licensure, I've got to pass all 4 parts of the exams, have my experience done, my 150 semester units completed. That's going to be an additional 30 beyond what you basically did to apply. You're then going to have to do a live scan, pay the appropriate fees, and then you get licensed. But when it comes to this experience, Attest is very, very different than this. So just kind of compare these two. Wow. Does the applicant have experience in the planning of auditing, including the selection of the procedures to be formed? That sounds pretty specific. Let's take a look over here at general. Oh, it's a 1-pager. Let's take a look at this one. So if I'm looking at this over here, general accounting experience may include providing any type of service or advice. Involving the use of accounting attest compilation, management advisory, financial advisory, tax, or consulting skills. To qualify, experience shall have been performed in accordance with applicable professional standards. If an applicant is performing attest services as part of the general experience, it must be performed under the supervision of a licensee who has satisfied the attest experience requirement. So for myself as a licensed CPA, if someone's working underneath me, either directly or indirectly, again, this can be signed off on anyone who has a CPA license as long as it is active. If the CPA that's signing off on it used to be active and you did the experience while they used to be active, they can still sign off on it for you. This is extremely broad, right? This is extremely strict, right? So when you go through and look at the different basically requirements, right, between attest and general, just keep that in mind. So coming back over here, again, most important things you can do. Everything's changing. No one knows what's going on. But if you focus on getting the ability to sit for the exam under the current regulations, which is I'm graduating within 6 months, I'll have 24 semester units of accounting done, 24 semester units of business done. I apply to sit for the CPA exam. I pass the CPA exam. I get my year of general experience. have 150 semester units. This is under the current scheme, not the new scheme. I make my application, pay my appropriate fees, and then I become licensed. Okay, so again, if you're just starting out in accounting, you want to just focus on the 24 and 24. If you're towards the end, you probably want to get moving. We've got to move it, because the legacy pathway is going to be expiring soon. Under the new pathway, what I've gone through and I've read, they're going to be requiring 2 years of work experience. There's going to be ways to potentially shave that down, master's in accounting, but God, that's really expensive. Possibly a community college certificate. Who knows what's going to happen? But the Board of Accountancy has indicated they may be going through and doing that. Could reduce your experience requirement from 2 years down to 18 months. You will not be able to stack the community college certificate with a master's of accounting. You will need to do that work experience, which is, by the way, extremely important. So that brings us to the end over here. Now, how can I help you? Please, if you want me to do a mapping, right? So if you want me to go through and map out your units, what I can do for you is, if you see all these 2 CPAs, right? This is what I do. This is how I go through and help out students. I do this for free. I will send you a Google Sheet. On that Google Sheet, you are going to list out every single class you have ever taken, including things like ceramics, arts, film classes, things that are probably a lot more fun than accounting. But that's what you're going to go through and do. So hopefully this was helpful, but just remember the 24-24 and focus on that 24/7. Get that bachelor's degree, take that CPA exam, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a great day.